When Ed Stack took over Dick's Sporting Goods in 1984, his main objective was keeping the family business afloat.
We weren't very well capitalized. Certain brands wouldn't sell us at the time.
Today, Dick's is the dominant player in sporting goods, with more than 850 stores across nearly every state in America. And it is one of the most innovative names in retail, connecting with customers through immersive experiences in the store, on the playing field, and digitally. Ed's vision?
To be the best sports company in the world.
As an analyst covering hardlines and broadline retail, I wanted to learn more about how Ed, whose father founded Dick's in 1948, has led the company through pivotal periods and how he's setting the pace for its future. So I traveled to Pittsburgh, where I met Ed at a house of sport for a fascinating conversation and some friendly competition. Ed, thank you so much for doing this. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Thanks.
Let's get into it.
Sure.
So what was your first job at Dick's? And growing up, did you imagine yourself joining the family business?
My father put me to work here when I was 13 because he was going to teach me responsibility. So I worked in the warehouse and I was unloading trucks and sweeping floors. Then when I was 15 years old, he put me on the sales floor, starting to wait on customers. I hated every minute of it. I wanted nothing to do with the family business. And when I went off to college, I never expected that I would come back. As I was getting ready to get out of school, my dad got really sick and I came back into the business. And somewhere along the line, I fell in love with the business. And it's a love affair that's alive and well today.
So you took over Dick's in 1984. What were your aspirations back then?
To be honest with you, it was a small family business. We had 2 little stores in Binghamton, New York. And the vision was really merely survive. You know, we really weren't very well capitalized. We had a line of credit from the bank that we had to clean up every single year for 30 days. And Adidas wouldn't sell us, Puma wouldn't sell us. And they were the 2 hot athletic brands at that time.
How has Dick's become more intentional about culture, and how do you scale that across 850 plus stores?
Culture's difficult to define because you can't pick up and look at culture. You can't kind of put it in a box and distribute it out to the stores. It's something that's got to be learned through osmosis. It's got to be led through values that the company has. And one of the things that I think helped with our culture, the easiest thing to say when you're having a business conversation of a new idea is to say no. You know, no, that won't work. And we made a change probably, 6, 7, 8 years ago and said whenever there's an idea and we're having a meeting and somebody comes up with a new idea, nobody can lead with no because. Every comment after that has to be yes if. Yes, we could do that if we can do this, this, and this. And it's made a huge change.
So we're sitting in this house of sport. For those that haven't experienced, how would you describe it? And then what is the return on the experience here?
If you see pictures of it or you try to describe it, it's very difficult. You have to get into the space to really understand it because of not only the size of it, but the products that are here, the interactivity that's here. This has really been a journey that's 10 years in the making. As we did that, we designed it, and when we walked through it, I said, it's not different enough from what we're doing today. So we scrapped it, put it on hold, and came back about 6 years ago and started the project again. The first one we did was roughly 100,000 square feet. There's a field right next to it. Have kids come and practice. You can have events there. We've got 25 now. We'll have 35 by the end of the year, and by the end of 27, we'll have somewhere between 75 and 100. We couldn't be more excited about it.
In a retail industry that's struggling to get people to come to stores, here's a category, sporting goods, and a physical box that people want to come to and experience.
If you're an athlete, this is the place you want to come to. If you talk to an analyst 5, 6, 7 years ago, they would say, I don't really know how many stores you have, but you have too many. And I don't really know how big your store is, but it's too big because you should shrink your store, have less stores. And when people would ask me, 6, 7 years ago, in 10 years, what will your footprint look like? I would tell them, I think we will have approximately the same amount of stores, but we'll have a lot more square footage. And they didn't particularly like that because they didn't understand what House of Sport was going to become. When Nike first came in to see the store, they said, this is the best expression of sport anywhere in the world. In 2016, we thought there was a huge opportunity to be the ecosystem of youth sports. Game Changer has been just terrific.
It's grown into a $100 million SaaS business with 9 million members. Did you always see it as a scalable platform, or did it evolve into something bigger than it is?
Every month we stream more baseball games, Little League games, high school games, than all the Major League Baseball games played since the beginning of time. We're doing this now with basketball. We're looking at soccer. Technology is an important part of our business. So we want to be involved with the customer, who we refer to as athletes. We want to be involved with the athletes and their entire journey, whether that's what they're doing from a research standpoint, provide them suggestions on what they should buy or how they can get better, what we can do from a retail standpoint of the product, how we can interact with them. People love Game Changer. You know, the satisfaction level is extremely high. If you're a mom or a dad and you're traveling for work, you can stream that game right on your phone, and that's why the business continues to grow at roughly 40% a year. And that's what we're really heading toward with this idea to be the best sports company in the world. We'll be evolving more into a platform where you can research product, you can buy product, you can try product. Game Changer would be involved with sports throughout the entire journey. We continue to expand what this whole youth platform could be.
Youth sports participation has faced some headwinds in recent years. What do you see as the biggest barriers, and how is Dick's working to address it?
Sports and culture is at an intersection. It has never been like this before, and that's happening all around the world. We're seeing our youth sports business on fire right now. Our baseball business has been great. Our soccer business has been great. The lacrosse business, basketball business. The World Cup is going to be the biggest sporting event this country's ever seen, and that's going to really help drive youth participation. What's going on in women's basketball right now with Caitlin Clark and Asia and Sabrina. Our number one selling basketball shoe is Sabrina's basketball shoe, because boys are buying that shoe too. We run a camp every year for 5 and 6 year olds that they come, and every day they play a different sport. So we introduce them to basketball one day, golf another day, baseball, football. There's a groundswell of what's going on in youth sports participation, and I think we're right at the center of that.
The Foot Locker acquisition has raised some eyebrows. What's the rationale behind it, and what do you say to the skeptics?
Foot Locker gives us the opportunity to have a global presence, which we don't have today. It gives us an opportunity to engage with a consumer that we don't have today. And we've always talked about this, that we don't make investments from one quarter to the next. We make investments for a lifetime. And we think the Foot Locker acquisition is an investment for a lifetime. People are starting to understand that and starting to get that. And I think as we go forward and we get Foot Locker turned around, I think they'll look back and say, that was a pretty good idea.
Dick's made headlines in 2018 with its decision to remove firearms, a move that cost the company more than $250 million. Would you make the same call today?
Absolutely. You know, after Sandy Hook, we really started to look differently at how we sold firearms, how we marketed it, take a bit of a back seat. And then when Parkland happened, I was on Good Morning America with Stephanopoulos, and he asked me, you know, will you ever put these guns back in the store? And I said never. I just didn't want to be a part of that story any longer. We exited the high-capacity magazines, the assault-style weapons. We wouldn't sell a firearm to anybody under 21 years old. And then a number of people were really upset with us, and it cost us well over $250 million. We then said, okay, you know what? Let's just test if we take all firearms out. Looked at every store, what was selling, what would be best for that community. And the margin rates were so much lower in the firearms business. We only had to recoup 60% of the sales to have the same kind of earnings number. When we did this, the team did such a good job on this that we captured about 110% of the sales. So it was a huge win for the company. And yes, I do it exactly the same way again.
What do you hope your legacy will be, not just at Dick's, but in how retail leaders think about culture, innovation, and impact?
I don't really think about the legacy that I'm trying to leave. I think about how the business will grow and survive going forward when I'm not involved any longer. When my dad was on his deathbed, and he'd been sick for a long time, I said, if it's time to go, it's okay for you to go. And I know you worry about the business, but I promise I will take care of the business. We'll continue this business for generations to come and set it up to be able to do that. And so what I'd like my legacy to be is to be able to fulfill that promise I made to my father on the day he died. And I think we're in really good shape. And to be able to do that, you have to have the right people. And Lauren Hobart is absolutely the right person. I couldn't be more proud of the team. The legacy for our company and for me would be that this continues to go on for generations.
Yeah, well, it's been a pleasure to watch a retail leader take a business through all the phases of retail evolution. Thanks for doing this.
Simeon, thanks.
Good
That was
talking
great.
to you.
Yeah, that's great. Let's walk around the store a little bit.
Yeah. love
Okay.
it. So this is what happens on the executive floor.
Yeah.